Good Wednesday morning to all of you who are watching and sharing your time with me and my co-host Denise. In today's episode of Real Living in Nashville, we are wrapping up this wonderful summer month of July. Given maybe where you're at, given where we're at, it's been a nice hot summer. Let's bring Denise in and get her opinion on this as well. So 1 second, here we go. Hello, Denise.
Good morning.
Has it been a hot summer for you?
It has, but it's been a rainy week in Nashville for the last week.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that in the news.
Yeah, it would be raining, just downpour, and then nothing. And 30 minutes later, the same thing.
Yeah.
But we needed it. The farmers need it. I don't like it, but it is relaxing to sleep to. Let's just say that.
That is true. Yeah. Mother Nature's rain is necessary. Yes, for the farmers, for the property owners with the luscious lawns. For us that have to go in and out, yeah, it's a little bit of you got to be prepared. Bring your umbrella.
If that's the worst thing we have to deal with, life is good.
Yeah, that's true.
Take a little rain over a difficult closing any day.
Yeah, there you go. Well said. Well said.
Any day.
I'll come back to maybe explore that with you in 1 second. Why don't we lead off today's episode conversation like we always do? And that is, Denise, share with us, what are the current trends and your personal market update as far as Nashville real estate?
I think one of the things we're seeing is that contracts are coming out more often. I think I saw a statistic, 53% of the contracts are coming back out and back onto the market. And that's because buyers feel like they have a little more leverage at this point. And if they're not getting the inspection needs that they request, if appraisals don't come in, or buyers just get cold feet and decide they're going to wait a little longer to buy. But we're seeing an increasing number of those. That's when it's important that the agents, as well as the lender, all work together to see if they can come up with solutions. But I had one that came out of contract 2 weeks ago. And unfortunately, you don't like that because people wonder why it came out of contract. And you can, as Lucy says, you can explain all day, but it certainly changes the property. So we are seeing that homes that, again, as always, if homes are market priced, they're in good condition and a good location, a desirable location, they're selling. Yeah. And so condos are still a little slower.
Are they?
They're a little slower. There's just a lot of stuff going on with condos in Tennessee.
Yeah, I hear you. Now, with what you touched upon, when contracts are falling out of escrow, are the buyers moving out of escrow before their due diligence period ends, or is it after? Talk to us about that.
So it's all over the board. Some don't even deliver the earnest money.
No.
Wow. They're, they just decide, they get cold feet. I mean, that's bottom line. It's just cold feet.
Right.
Or they found something better that they think fits their needs better. Something comes on market. But there are some, again, that are coming out during due diligence, during inspections, during appraisal, and during things that have to do with HOAs. And that's the condo lawns. But yeah.
Okay. Have you ever had a situation, Denise, where a contract, fell out of escrow, and because they went past the diligence period and, of course, tied the property up with enough time, have you ever had a situation where, whether you were on the seller side or the buyer side, the buyer kind of lost their earnest money?
So almost would be a good way to say it. I had a client that put down a significant amount, $100,000 for a down payment, escrow. And we never could get clear title because it was a house that was under construction. We couldn't get information from anybody and everybody that on that property. So we were this close to going to court to arbitrate it out. And that's expensive for everybody. And just about the time that we decided to, you have 31 days before you have to go to an interpleader. And we got our earnest money back. So it was correct. There really wasn't any question from attorneys, but if the seller won't sign off, you can't do anything. I have had instances in which the buyer felt as if perhaps they had unduly wronged the person, but still wanted out of the contract. They gave a certain amount of earnest money back, just as good faith. So, there's good people out there, and people work through things. Knock on wood, never had a situation that my clients lost earnest money.
Earnest money? Okay. I've had one situation where that happened, and I'll be honest with you, I think it happened because at the end of the day, the buyer not only got cold feet, but the buyer just flat out changed his or her mind. And this property was tied up in escrow for, I think about 20 days. We issued a loan commitment subject to some conditions. And we were in the process of, wrapping up those miscellaneous stuff when this emotional pivot happened.
And it's purely emotions. And buying and selling a house are both very emotional. For the good news is, for realtors and lenders, it's business. So we realize it's emotional, and we have to balance that. But if someone really doesn't want to buy a home and the seller is amenable, I think it's great that you move on, and because the rest of the process could be really not fun.
I know. And it just creates the dark cloud hanging over everybody's time frame for that short window of time. But it's something that can kind of disrupt your momentum, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, so back to what you kind of hinted at. Well, the hot weather is, yes, it's hot, but it's better than a not so great closing. Shed some light on that. What's that mean?
So I've just had a couple of very difficult condo closings because of property management. Property management, when you have a condo, the lender, as you know, sends out a condo questionnaire. It asks all the questions, how many are rented, how many people are delinquent on their HOA fees. Is there any part of the building that's uninhabitable? Is there an assessment? Are there any structural repairs? Lots of questions. And the buyer pays for that.
Yes, you're right.
And what we're finding is that the property manager or whoever is completing those forms has very little sense of urgency. And very little sense of responsibility that they can be a conduit or a cogwheel. In this transaction. And we've just had someone that has just basically, to use the dating word, ghosted us. And it has delayed the transaction, and it gave the opportunity for the buyer to say, I'm out. And we felt bad because I'm representing the buyer. The seller has done everything they could. And in fact, we had to actually go to the local HOA to get them to motivate the property manager. We're closing this afternoon.
Good.
We had to extend the contract once, and the buyer decided we were extending until today if they couldn't make it happen. So let's just say there's been a lot of push, a lot of heavy weight thrown at this property manager who just, I don't know. I don't understand. But
I know. I know a lot about condos, not just because, like we are service providers in the business of real estate, moving real estate, delivering mortgage money on real estate. but personally, I know a lot about condos because I've owned several condos before.
Yes.
And in some of these condos, I certainly owner occupied it for, that window of time. And so lucky me, I'm being sarcastic. Lucky me, I was the chosen one to serve on the board.
Yes.
In a multitude of positions, from treasurer, secretary, VP to president. And so for those of you watching today's episode, if you are a seller of a condo in Nashville or any greater metropolitan area, but let's keep it to Nashville, and you're thinking of, oh my gosh, Denise kind of knows my story, I need to reach out to her to start a conversation. By the way, we'll make it real easy for you to do that toward the end of today's conversation, so don't worry. What I've come to realize is condo board members, regardless of what position you serve, if your third-party property manager doesn't have a sense of urgency, fire them. You're paying them good money for no value.
Yes.
If you are self-managing your condo HOA, you have to have a sense of urgency helping your neighbors, your unit owners, sell their property. And you just might have to time block and put in some effort of sharing electronically. That's the fastest way. Condo docs, bylaws, decks, financial statements, answering, as Denise mentioned, the condo questionnaire. Why? Because condo board members, I've been in your world. That day will come when you are the seller and you want
right.
You want that same
point.
That's right. You want that same sense of urgency from people that you rely on to move the needle in your next step as you move to your next chapter.
Yes. Very true. Good point.
Yeah. And by the way, a little secret I'll share with you, but it's really not that big of a secret, Denise. Whenever you might be representing a seller, even if the seller never attends the condo board meetings, I think by condo laws, they have to get communication about what's going on with HOA.
Yes.
Ask the seller for whatever they can provide to you as their broker, and then facilitate that to the buyer's lender just to kind of grease the skids a little bit.
And it actually saves the buyer money.
Bingo.
Because they love to HomeWise loves to charge for those documents. They made us this past week.
How much?
Go out. Well, we paid our condo questionnaire, but their insurance was expiring.
Yeah.
And so instead of them giving us a copy of the new insurance policy, they told us to go somewhere, who sent us to another underwriter, and they said, oh, we have it. They gave us a link and we had to pay to get that document.
Yeah.
So those are things that shouldn't happen. They shouldn't happen. And the sellers had been fabulous, as you know, that was part of our contract. That was a special stipulation that we received those within the first 5 days.
Right.
We got those. We got all the budgets, the minutes. They were very willing to share everything, because nobody wants to go to the end of a transaction and it fall apart.
Yeah.
There's a lot of time, effort, and money spent on that.
Absolutely. Not only do you not want it to fall apart, you don't want there to be a last minute 11th hour fire drill just before closing or at the closing table. That's not fun either.
No, I think we all are wearing firefighter suits right now. Actually, you maybe just gave me a great idea for closing to take in a fire hat, because we've been laughing about. But we are working with a great seller's agent.
Good.
And he understands the pain. And actually, once he got involved, he understood it more than he probably wanted. But he has been fabulous. We haven't had an alarmist in this group. Everybody's just working to get it done. Good. And when everybody works toward the same goal,
good,
it's usually a successful transaction. I'll let you know about 4:30 today.
Okay. All right. Text me, and I'll. If you're wrapping up your closing, I'll give you my hand clap emoji.
And maybe we'll be wearing firefighter outfits. Who knows?
There you go. Take a picture as well.
Yeah.
So as we now pivot our conversation today to something that I know a lot about, most of the time, actually, I'm joking, a lot of the time, because in a previous episode, Denise asked, "Oh, Bill, in one episode, let's pivot to your world so that I learn more about financing." So, yes, today we're going to share with you a bunch of did you know facts. All right, so let me lean in here. Denise, and start with this humorous cliche. When it comes to financing, there are 31 flavors of financing. Ha ha ha.
Is it like Baskin Robbins?
It's like Baskin Robbins. It's, there's 31 flavors. There's so many different ways to get financing. However, my next cliche, if you remember nothing else, is this: a loan is simply a loan. You're borrowing somebody's money,
right?
And that other person, whether it be a traditional lender, a non-traditional lender, or a private lender, I'll come back to explain that in a little bit, is going to want to see and know and feel that you can pay the loan back over time. Would you agree to that statement, Denise?
Absolutely.
Bingo.
I mean, I wouldn't give money to somebody if I didn't think they could pay it back.
That's right. If you were the bank person, just like you said, I agree with you, Bill. So let's now break it down to a few of the flavors that probably matter in today's real estate marketplace. So let's bring up this visual here. Right? In this visual, this represents what I call the silver tsunami. Denise knows all about that because I have a feeling you probably do wonders with this market demographics. These are the baby boomers that are looking at their next chapter and kind of saying to you, Denise, make it happen for me.
Yeah. People moving to Tennessee to retire.
There you go. We talked about that so many times. So for these baby boomers in the silver tsunami, usually what happens is they own a property, maybe free and clear, maybe not. But the reality is they lived in their subject property, maybe raised kids to where they're now adults. The kids are adults now. And these baby boomers own this property with a lot of equity. And so one type of financing, one flavor of financing that might be a good fit for them, for Denise to help them to move to that next chapter, is bridge financing, using a home equity line of credit. Why? Because keeping it real simple today, these two instruments help turn that equity tied to that property into, guess what? Cold hard cash. Right?
Yes.
And that enables you, baby boomer, if you're watching today's episode, that enables you, baby boomer, working with Denise to write a cash purchase offer in your next abode in the greater Nashville area. So that's one flavor. So let's now talk about another flavor. For this demographics, and Denise, I know you know a lot about this demographics, right?
Yeah, I have a lot of those.
Yes, the first-time buyers just recently graduated, so to speak, and probably just landed their first career opportunity. Maybe they are a young physician. Maybe they are a young IT professional that's working for a technology company such as, I'll pick on one, Microsoft, Google, just to name a few. And in that respect, what first-time home buyers usually want to understand from myself and Denise, if we are partners in the transaction, is, hey, Bill, hey, Denise, how can I buy that nice condo? Because we're talking about condos. How can I buy that nice condo? Because I'm dropping rent to the tune of $3,000 a month and they're jacking that up. And how can I get a loan for as much of that purchase? So for these first-time home buyers, there is more than several flavors of financing. You can get loans with low money down or skinny down payment, as I call it.
Oh, that's cute. I haven't heard that term. I like that.
Skinny down payment. Yeah. A lesser skin in the game. And for some of you who may qualify for third-party down payment assistance, you want to explore that as well. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
So this is kind of the next flavor or set of flavors of financing. The third one is the professionals that are in what I call the lottery, the mega million professions.
The mega millions. Yeah.
The mega million professions.
His future earning potential is good.
It is good, and it's gonna mushroom and blow up like crazy. In this respect, if you are a young resident, a fellow, you're at the cusp of joining a medical group as their young physician on board, there's financing solutions that are really tailored for you. They are like physician loans, doctor loans, where same drill. Maybe your big payday hasn't hit your entire bank account yet, so you don't have that somewhat larger, healthier down payment. These unique niche financing solutions allow you to borrow literally up to 100% based on that mega million income potential. So you want to explore that as well if you're in this demographics.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So can I share with you one more financing solution? As soon as I drop it in front of you, you'll kind of nod. You're like, hey, I've heard of that one. This is nothing new, ladies and gentlemen. Seller financing. Here's
more of it.
You're going to see more of it. Here's a story I'm going to share with you, everyone. Listening to today's episode. I had a conversation recently with a person referred to me. He shared his story with me, which is, Bill, I've moved on to my next chapter. He got remarried. He owned a large suburban home, free and clear. And his question to me was, I want to sell it to my stepson. And I said, okay. And so we talked about that path, selling it to his stepson. How can he make it a win-win for stepson and him? And then he asked me the next question. What if I don't want to sell it to my stepson? Not right now, but what if I want to help my stepson with financing? So Denise, in that respect, I kind of walked him through the storyboard of, well, John Doe, name anonymous, you could seller finance your stepson. Here is probably how you want to do it. And here is what should be your exit plan, so that at some near future date, you get the rest of your money, and your stepson, assuming maybe his business is going to skyrocket, he's gonna cash out stock options, whatever the story is, he can then source traditional financing without having to rely on you as a private lender. So that's another term for how you can source financing. You can act as your own private lender, ladies and gentlemen.
And you can help with that. Is that correct?
I can talk someone through how to set that up, and then, of course, be the resource for when the seller financing must come to an end, whether it be 3 years later, 5 years later, so that all parties complete the transaction. Everyone wins with, I've got better terms. The seller walks away with, hey, I got the rest of my cash. I can move on as well. So
perfect.
Yeah. Perfect. So does that kind of help you today with, understand a little bit more?
I mean, there's, like you said, there's 31 flavors.
There is.
And I, as an agent, can't really advise my clients.
Sure.
And that's why lender relationships are so important because, you don't take people out to look at homes. So I should stay in my lane in that as well.
That's right. And as I've mentioned before, real estate is a team sport. For those of you watching us who might be selling, who might be buying, it's very important to choose your team of service providers. And by the way, I'll wrap up with this last comment. What are the two biggest factors that drive financing? It is these two things. Are you going to occupy the property? If you are, you'll always get great terms. If you're not, that means you're an investor. That means if you're using someone else's money, the cost of borrowing that money dollar for dollar will be a little bit more expensive, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And then the next one, no surprise, we see this enough on social media, your credit grade or score, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, only means this: can you be trusted? Can you be trusted to pay the loan back over time? It tells a lender nothing more. So I joke with this a lot, Denise. Good enough credit, rock star credit, will keep you in the conversation so that we can explore how you're going to pay the loan back over time.
There you go. Don't buy the car. Don't buy the car. Don't buy the car.
That's right. Unless you want to live in a Tesla.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. It's gorgeous, but it's a little cramped.
That's right. That's right. So as we wrap up, I hinted at this earlier: potential sellers and potential buyers in the greater Nashville area. If you have not today, why not? If you have not today reached out to a trusted, experienced service provider in this business of real estate, simply scan the QR codes that you see next to our headshots. Both Denise and I will gladly start a conversation with you to walk you, to give you that concierge service through your real estate journey. So Denise, as we wrap up, good luck to you this afternoon with your closing.
Great. My phone is blowing up with the buyer's daddy is at the bank because the lender is working.
Wiring money. Yeah.
Trying, and the link's expired. So I'm looking at messages going, oh man, poor guy.
No worries. I'll let you go. And by the way, if you do wear your firefighter hat, snap a picture. Let me throw down my emojis to celebrate your day.
I will do it. Thank you. Everybody have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.